Hello there, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about Prizzi's Honor, which is a mob comedy by John Huston, made not long before he died. This was in his last few years. He made this film. I mean, John Huston kept making films till he died with the dead. It's a perfect end title for a film. He just kept on going as long as he could, as long as he really wanted the set with gas masks, with the ear mask thing on. He would keep directing. Um, and he still kept up the quality for a lot of the films. I mean, not everyone worked, but he kept going and he tried different things. So he's one of those directors who there's a lot of films, some bad ones, but then there's a lot of really good ones with this. So it's based on a novel by Richard Condon. Richard Condon also wrote the novel they based Manchurian Candidate on, and then he also wrote Winter Kills as well. So he's written a few books that have great adaptations of them made. Those two were black comedy conspiracy movies. This one's a black comedy mob movie. But he's always got comedy in his films. He's always or in his stories. It's always about like systems of control, systems of power, systems of people telling you how to be, and the mob seems to be the perfect place to do that. Now, John Huston was in Winter Kills as the villain. In this one, he's like the director. So obviously, he liked Condon stuff, so he did Prizzi's Honor. So he got Jack Nicholson to play Charlie Partiana, who's this sort of he thinks himself as a low level mob hitter, but he's actually connected to everybody in the top of his family, and he's kind of the go-to guy for any operation he's done. But he doesn't really have the ambition because he's not really set up at the beginning of the film to be the top guy. He is a functionary. There's already a boss who hates him. So he's like, he does his job and gets on with it. He's a lot of people protect him who like him. So there we go. So at the beginning, during a wedding, he sees Kathleen Turner and at a wedding and falls in love with her. And he actually basically tracks her down to LA. She was in town for the wedding, then went back to LA. He tracks her down, falls in love with her. Then it turns out she was connected to a scam that stole money from them. And he has to choose. Should he tell her and have a shot, or should he believe her story saying that she had nothing to do with it? She was just it was bad luck. He decides to believe her and marry her. At the same time, there are other things going on where he is dealing with they're dealing with different interests from different banks, and people steal money from the banks, and there's a whole scheme of this guy who's the president of the bank who's up to no good, and it gets more and more complicated as the film goes on. I'm not even going to try and explain it. It works perfectly in the film because they give you just enough information so you know what's going on, but they don't like throw tons of information at you. Because the main story is between Jack Nicholson and Kathleen Turner as this couple who become married, who are tied to the mob, who have to deal with all the complications of the mob. Because, as I said, Nicholson's boss hates him because he was engaged to this guy's daughter. Because earlier on, he was been set up as the next, because the mob boss doesn't have a son, we're going to have Nicholson's character marry Angelica Houston's character, who's the daughter of the top guy. She'd ran away with someone else after an argument. She's been banned from the family, and Nicholson's like persona non grata with his boss in certain areas, and he's getting blamed for all of this. So when Nicholson marries Angelica Houston's character, he can come back. But she's kind of her own power plays going on, which interact with lots of other power plays, and lots of stuff happens. And innocent people are killed. Guilty people are killed. And you have a wonderfully droll black comedy where Nicholson in the middle is dealing with people who are way faster than he is. He's just trying to hang on to all of this lying all over the place. And this is a wonderful film. It's just a great black comedy. And it's funny because it's all about these old guys who run the Prizzi family, and the two quickest characters in it are the two women, which is Kathleen Turner and John Huston. They're the two fastest, smartest characters in the whole film. They're way smarter than any guys in the film, and they're way ahead of all the guys every moment. And it's just watching them try to operate within this crazy organization and all the egos, all the hurt feelings, the cliches of the mobster families that you get in The Godfather is set up. This one sends up The Godfather, not in an obvious jokey way. Like, no one's doing imitations of Marlon Brando. What they're doing is taking the kind of tropes of the mob and just showing you how these are just these old men who are just trying to survive and trying to make money, but they've got lots of crazy ideas and they're hanging on for all this money when they've nothing to do spend it on. And it's just like a funny parody of the mob mentality and how dangerous it is and how you can get sucked into it. But it's mainly a comedy. I mean, it's a really funny comedy. There's lots of really funny lines in the film. And a lot of the jokes are about who the characters are, how they interact with other people, what they say to other people, and the various different meanings the words have. Like, it's just a really well written film, and it's really well played. All the actors are enjoying themselves. You can tell they're all enjoying themselves. They're all having a blast playing these characters who are, egocentric, selfish, strange. All of them think they're the center of attention, even if they're not as smart as they think they are. All dealing with these bizarre plots that are floating around them. And it's just a blast as watching it all. The only big problem with the film is you can't get it unless it's in DVD. At the moment, it's hard to find outside of DVD. I think there's a German Blu-ray, but I'm not sure. And it's like this crime because this is a beautiful looking film. Obviously, it should be remastered, and it just isn't. And it's like, why is this just in standard definition? This is just insane. Well, this is a film that should be in 4K by now. Actually, Jack Nicholson's the star, for God's sake. You've got Kathleen Turner and Angelica Houston. There's a big name to sell a film. It's a John Huston film. It's like, why isn't this been remastered? And I have no idea why, because it was critically acclaimed when released. It was a hit. It's done well since it was released on video and TV. It's one of those films we bring it up, everyone seems to love it. But it's never getting released properly. It just seems like it's been a forgotten film, which is a real crime because it's so well made. It's so hilariously funny. And a lot of just little details of character and just the endless dumb frustrations that Nicholson has. Like, he's always playing a character who knows he's not getting it and he's frustrated by not getting it, but he knows he has to ask someone else for information. But he's also very efficient at his own level, but he's above his own level. A lot of the time, it's hilarious to watch him trying to navigate, even if he's out of his depth, he's not quite comfortable. You have the three guys behind me. So Robert Laguerre as one of the sons. Lee Richardson, who you'll notice from The Exorcist 3 and a bunch of other films. And you have this fellow in the centre who's the old guy, whose name, I think it's William Hickley, who is great in this film. He's an actor who's not as old as he looks. He's actually made up to look older. And he's great. He's almost like this corpse who's going to hang on like Dracula forever. And he's just hilarious. And the whole cast is funny. And the whole thing is just really, really enjoyable. It just deserves a proper release. So see it wherever you can. It's just wonderful. And it's incredibly well made. It's another Huston film that really deserves a lot of attention. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's me for this week. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.